Good Friday morning, everyone. My name is Josiah Pike, and these are your Fastcast digital headlines for December 19th. In today's top headline, Anchorage teachers took to the streets in the hundreds Thursday to protest amidst negotiations with the Anchorage School District for a new contract. Now, the Anchorage Education Association says uncompetitive wages are driving teachers to take jobs in the lower 48, and that, in turn, they say leads to larger class sizes and a less effective personal education for Anchorage students. Now, the AEA organized rallies at 4 street corners across the city, waving signs and singing songs in the bitter cold in protest.
Everybody out here right now is making less real money in their paychecks every month than they did last year. That needs to change. We're hemorrhaging people. They're going away.
I love my school and I love my administration. I love my department and I love my students. But I don't feel like the district loves me back.
We have not been out in this fashion for over 20 years. And it is a shame that we are in this position.
Now, the ASDA responded to our request for comment with a link to their bargaining page, and that says that the two sides have agreed to more than 20 terms to the next contract, including an increase in health insurance and updated work-from-home provisions. However, the AEA tells us that if there isn't an agreement by February, a teacher's strike could be on the table. Now, the 20th annual Arctic Report Card was released this week, put together from hundreds of scientists and researchers from around the world to better understand the changes and trends in the Arctic climate. Now, this year, many familiar trends we've seen in the data, and climate specialist Rick Thoman says Alaskans are already noticing the changes on the ground.
One of the things I think that we expected and we are now seeing are things like advancing permafrost thaw and the impacts that's having to Alaska infrastructure, whether it's subsiding land in the Kuskokwim Delta or in the interior, roads that need repaired every summer because the permafrost is thawing out from underneath them. That, I think, was pretty well expected, the impacts to infrastructure.
Infrastructure is not the only thing affected from melting permafrost. Now our rivers are turning orange from high concentrations of iron and other heavy metals. Now, find the detailed report in the full 150-page 2025 Arctic Report Card on our website. And finally, you may recall the most famous reindeer of all, but have you ever heard of the most famous moose? Well, allow me to introduce you to Moodolph the red-nosed moose. Now, he's part of the Ambro family Christmas light display in the Abbott Loop neighborhood. The hand-built moose and dazzling LED murals have turned their yard into a merry, twinkling wonderland.
I grew up in California, and our whole neighborhood decorated for Christmas every year, generated a traffic jam with police having to be at the end of the street to direct traffic and everything. It's actually roughly 3,500 of these same lights that's on everything else. The computer knows where every single light out here is and when to turn each one a certain color.
You can even turn your car radio to 95.7 when you're nearby and listen to some Christmas tunes. The dazzling light display will be set up until New Year's Eve, and to see more of our holiday light display coverage, check out our website. And speaking of our website, updates on these stories and more can be found right there on alaskasnewssource.com. Thanks for tuning in this Friday. Have a great Friday and a great weekend.